Good evening, Martins Creek families, and welcome to our annual Title I Open House video. I put that little pause in there because, of course, we normally have our open house right here on campus with hundreds of parents present. We talk about the coming school year, Title I programs, and just everything that's going on. Of course, that's not really possible this year, so instead we have this video. Hopefully it'll be beneficial for you, and it's something you can come back and review as needed. We won't take it down. We'll leave it uploaded to this YouTube channel. So this evening I will talk with you a little bit about Martins Creek School being a Title I school and what that means. I'll also talk about our recent transition where we now have K-5 students attending 4 days per week. First, before any of that, I want to express our sincere gratitude and thanks to all our parents and guardians for how smoothly this school year has gone. We have had zero issues with any student not wearing a mask, not doing proper social distancing or anything like that. Things have just gone very smoothly. Our students have done phenomenally well with all these things that we've asked them to do, and I feel like that's probably a big part of why, as of yet, we haven't had really much in the way of sickness here at the school this year. So thank you so much for the preparation you must have done with students before they returned to us. With that said, as I mentioned, Martins Creek School is a Title I school, and Title I is a federal program that identifies small schools, often rural schools like Martins Creek, for additional funding to ensure that there's quality instruction and support programs for the students. One criteria in making that identification is the percentage of students who receive free or reduced lunch. Now, as you know, the CPA grant through the USDA provides all students at Martins Creek School with free breakfast and lunch. In the absence of that grant, if we didn't have that grant in place, approximately 70% of our students would qualify for free lunch if they submitted applications. So we qualify for Title I funding. We are a Title I school, as I said. And that's not a new thing. That's something that's been the case for as long as I can remember, but it might be something that some parents don't realize or maybe are not aware of. Part of Title I funding always focuses on parent involvement. Each year Martins Creek receives approximately $1,200 in parent involvement funds. This money doesn't belong to the PTO, but we always decide upon that budget and how to spend and utilize that money in conjunction with our PTO. So in past years, this parent involvement money has funded things like our family reading night, social studies night, math night. It's provided books and calculators and things like that for each student that the parents could use at home with the student and make that connection to the curriculum. The way that we'll utilize those particular funds this year, of course, will probably look different. For the foreseeable future, it doesn't look like we'll be having any of those events where the public and parents kind of come into the school and we have those large numbers present at one time. Hopefully, eventually, we'll be able to return to that. Once we have our plans worked out and our budget for that parent involvement money, we'll make that known to parents and publish that. Title I funds can also be used to ensure that students in schools like Martins Creek have the needed equipment and resources. One thing that we have done gradually over time, and I was very thankful for last spring, is we have used Title I money here at Martins Creek to acquire enough Chromebooks and devices so that every student in the school could have one. And that came in very handy last spring when we had to close. We had enough devices for all students, kindergarten through 8th grade. Now, of course, some students did not have internet access at home, and when there was available cell signal in those homes or near those homes, we were able to send home hotspots, and students could use the devices that way for instruction. So that is one way that we have used our Title I funding over the past few years for technology. and trying to have a true one-to-one school here where each student has his or her own device. So at the school level, we can use Title I funds. How we choose and decide to as a team working with parents, as long as that mission is accomplished of helping parents connect to the curriculum and know how they can support their child at home. Our district also receives Title I funds, and if you ever have questions about how Cherokee County Schools decides to utilize those Title I funds, you may contact Mrs. Julie Higdon, the District Title I Coordinator. You may email her at julie.higdon@cherokee.k12.nc.us, or you can call her at the central office, 828-837-2722. Now, the district is able to fund some instructional positions with Title I funds. For example, all the pre-K teachers in our district their salaries are funded through Title I. We can't use that for salaries at the school level, but that is something that the district does at the district level. And I do need to, at this juncture, give a shout out to our assistant principal, Mrs. Lugowitz. Anytime that you're using funding and it has to be for a specific purpose, you have to keep careful documentation to show that you're complying with those guidelines. Now, years ago, principals, me included, we kept track of that documentation in an actual crate. This is actually the crate from years ago. Now that crate is digital, and Mrs. Lugowitz has done an excellent job of making sure that all our documentation was accurate and up to date. She also created this handy dandy flyer for parents, which is all about Title I. These brochures are available in our office. They're also posted on our school website, and we can send one home to you with your child anytime you would like to have one. But in this brochure that Mrs. Lugowitz created, you have some information about what exactly is Title I, a little bit about how we gather data on our students' learning and plan instruction accordingly. On the back panel there's some highlights about our school, different programs and clubs and activities that we offer for students. And then here in the middle, talks a little bit about how we use those funds. And then there's some basic tips and advice for parents how to help your child be successful at home. Everything from establishing bedtime routines to signing your child's planner and how to monitor progress. Over here on the other panel, we have our school improvement goals for this school year, which I'll talk a little bit more about shortly. How to access the school improvement plan. The fact that all of our teachers at Martins Creek are considered highly qualified, meaning they have the degree and hold the license for the subject area that they teach. And then just some additional information there for parents. On the back, one of our school colors is gold, purple and gold. And so gold, we use that to stand for give respect, own my behavior, lead by example, and demonstrate responsibility. So we use this mantra to teach students about positive behavior in each school setting, such as the classroom, the school bus, the restroom, the cafeteria, and even online. And there's our mission statement. We like to keep it very simple so that even our kindergarten students can understand and recite the mission statement. And just additional information here. But again, this flyer is available, this brochure. So just let us know if you would like a copy. Another key document that each Title I school develops and maintains is a parent engagement or parent involvement plan. And we have that available as well. So you can not only review that at any time, but you can also have input into that as a parent or guardian. So please let us know if you would like to be involved with that plan, or if you would like to be able to review the plan. It is also uploaded on our school webpage. We reflect our use of Title I funds in our school improvement plan. In normal years, schools submit their school improvement plan to the Board of Education at the first part of October. This year, with all the different logistics that had to be planned for and different delays that we had as a result, Those plans will be submitted in November. We have elected our school improvement team, and we are currently working on our new school improvement plan. We always have a parent representative as part of that school improvement plan, and that is currently Mrs. Cindy Thrasher. Ms. Thrasher subs at our school often. She has a child here now and one who went through here and is now in high school. And anytime that you would like to give input to her or make suggestions to her as the parent representative of the school improvement team, you can email her at Cindy, spelled C-I-N-D-Y, cindy.thrasher@cherokee.k12.nc.us. We also have a parent representative who is involved in planning and carrying out Title I activities, and her name is Jamie Savageau. She has 2 children currently attending Martins Creek School and one who has gone on to high school. If you would like to reach her with input or suggestions, you may email her at fnp.0512@gmail.com. Although we obviously work on a lot of different goals and employ many strategies all the time in a lot of different areas, this year's school improvement plan focuses primarily on 2 indicators or instructional goals. The first one is that the school will regularly communicate with parents and guardians about the expectations and importance of the curriculum and what parents can do at home to support their children's learning, their child's learning. By no means does this mean that we want to put any additional pressure or responsibility on parents. They have enough on their plates as it is. Instead, it just means that we want to ensure that we are keeping parents informed to the best of our ability, and it means that we'll measure how well we're doing with that goal. We'll keep track of that communication that we're doing. The second goal is that all teachers will be attentive to students' emotional states and will guide students in managing their own emotions and will arrange for supports and interventions. We're living in strange times, and it can be very discouraging not only for adults but for kids too. So this is why we chose to focus on this particular goal right now. You may have noticed that when students are working remotely and they sign in for their attendance, they answer a series of questions that are posed to them, and those questions help us assess how that student is doing at that moment emotionally. And this is just one strategy that goes along with that school improvement goal. It is important for your child to complete that attendance check-in. This is how we know whether to mark a student present or absent. So please encourage your student to complete that attendance check-in daily. This year's school improvement team members, which were elected by the staff here, are Mrs. Chastain and Mrs. Luther, who work in our pre-K, Ms. Truitt, our counselor, Mrs. Phillips, our middle school language arts teacher, Mrs. Postel, our middle school EC teacher, Mrs. London, our media coordinator and 21st Century director, Mrs. Lugowitz, our assistant principal, and myself. Finally, a brief word about our transition to a 4-day week for K-5 students. As I mentioned in the opening, things have gone really well at Martins Creek so far, and we want to gradually ease into a more normal schedule and a larger student presence at one time here on our campus. If all goes well with this current phase, we hope to eventually return our dismissal time to 3:05 p.m. and to eventually have K-5 students attend all 5 days in person. Of course, we want the exact same for our 6-8 students, but all this will require, the middle school will require a decision from the governor in order to move forward. And in the current phase that we're in, beginning this week for the first time, our K-5 students were able to have their library teacher, their art teacher, and their music teacher come into their classrooms and teach them. They also, for the first time, were able to go as a class to their PE teacher, either in the gym or outside, and have that instruction given there. One reason that PE has that flexibility and art and music and library don't yet have that is with PE it's much easier in the gym or outside to space students out farther away from each other. These are all great steps forward, and we do hope to begin another transition in the next 2 or 3 weeks if everything goes well. But those types of things will also have to be district decisions, and we need to go slow so that we don't jeopardize the progress that we've made. That's a little bit about what's different in this transition that we have right now with K-5 students. Something that's the same yet also different. We will have to continue screening students, but we'll no longer have to write down their temperatures or their answers to the questions that we pose about symptoms. We can also abbreviate those questions about symptoms because at this point, unless you're a new parent or new guardian to our school, you are familiar with the symptoms and the questions. So that will make things go hopefully a little more quickly. Something that's the same, students will still need to wear masks. They do need to be social distanced as much as possible. But we're no longer with K-5 bound strictly to the 6-foot rule in the classroom. Right now we're still able to do that, but we do have a little flexibility if we enroll more students or more students come back from remote instruction to in-person instruction, that we can space them out as best we can. It doesn't have to be exactly 6 feet. With that abbreviated questioning that we'll begin doing as far as symptoms, if we don't ask you specifically about a certain issue or symptom that you know is going on, please go ahead and bring that to our attention. Be forthcoming about that, even if we don't specifically ask you about a particular problem or symptom. I'm looking at my teleprompter here, and I think that's about it as far as what we wanted to share this evening. Please never hesitate to reach out to us with any question, any need, or any concern. You can do that through email, you can call, you can see me or Mrs. Lugowitz in the parent pickup line or drop-off line. And most of you have my cell phone number as well. I won't list it in this video, but anytime if you would like to have that number, to put that in your phone, just let me know through email or in person or a phone call. I'll be glad to supply that number to you. And sometimes that's a quick, easy way for parents to communicate when they're at work if they have a question or concern about something. Again, thank you so much for watching this. It's a little bit late to mention this, but hopefully you were able to speed this video up by clicking on the settings wheel in the lower right hand corner so that it took less of your time. But again, thank you so much, and please let us know anytime you have questions or that we can help in any way. Thank you.